The so-called Doomsday Mom gets underway this week, a case that has captured attention across the country.
And joining us this morning is forensic psychiatrist Ian Lamoureux with more on this case and why we may find it so interesting. Hi, Ian. Thank you for being here. Appreciate
good morning.
it.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning.
And, you know, we were talking a little bit earlier, and you were talking about watching this case. There are so many strange aspects to it, right? The fact that you had two people, allegedly, involved in the murder of two young children. That's very unusual, you were saying.
Yeah, absolutely. When you see two people, especially one of them being the mother of the child, who are implicated, again, allegedly killing their children like this, that's extremely rare for this type of situation where it seems as though there may even be a mental illness aspect to it. At least that seemed to be the case from a lot of the earlier court filings. I thought one of the more interesting developments was the defense recently was stating that they don't plan to pursue any sort of mental defense of any kind or look at mental state at the time of the offense. They look for, at this point, it looks like full acquittal. So they're trying to argue the facts rather than so essentially they're trying to argue more of a whodunit as opposed to a why-done-it.
Yeah, for whatever reason, maybe they don't think that part of the defense is strong enough, right, to you know, to help their case. Why do you think the nation is so interested in this? Is it the religious aspect? Is it maybe a combination of all the factors that are involved?
This is a very unique case. There's a lot of odd aspects to it that you just don't see in a lot of cases. As we were mentioning, you don't usually see an accomplice, at least alleged accomplice, with a murder of children. Yeah. There's also this doomsday cult aspect to it, and that's something that I think captivates the nation, especially in the wake of Waco and other examples of doomsday cults that we've had. This being April, it's certainly one of those things that I think is probably on the country's mind.
And the sheer number of people who are involved here. So, and again, these are all, nobody's been convicted of anything, but you've got a man and a woman. His ex-wife ends up dead. Her husband ends up dead. Her brother ends up dead. The two children are dead, and they may all be tied together with this. I mean, you just don't get this very often.
Exactly. There's just so many people in this case that have been winding up dead for one reason or another. In several instances, it's pretty obviously foul play, so murder is clearly the means of death, whereas in others there's potentially natural causes, like a blood clot in one instance, and I think they recently are exhuming a body.
They are, yeah.
Yeah, so they're taking a step back and thinking, well, maybe some of these deaths aren't so benign. Maybe there's a nefarious element to them.
Yeah, there's too many. They're everywhere. They're all around.
Yeah. Does your job ever get old when you're taking a look at these cases? Being a forensic psychiatrist, you must think, wow, I mean, every single case has these unique parts about them.
That's absolutely right. One of the things I really am fortunate for is that my job doesn't get very old. There's always some interesting elements to each case, and even if it's on the news and it seems as though it's one of those kind of more straightforward cases, so to speak, there's usually a lot of interesting twists and turns that may not be reported on, just because the prosecution, for example, may be very tight-lipped and doesn't want to disclose certain facts to the public because it might affect the ability of them to prosecute their case.
Interesting.
Ian Lamoureux, thank you so much for coming on this morning, and maybe we can have you up here again as we start getting some testimony.
Yeah, great insight. Thank you, Ian.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
So Fox 10's Justin Lum, he is the only local reporter inside the courtroom up there, so he will be there for opening statements. And opening statements are important because you know where both sides are coming from, what they're going to try to prove in this case. You can catch his reports on Fox 10 News. He'll be going have live updates on his Twitter page as well, and on our website, fox10phoenix.com/Vallow, if you are one of the people.